All right. Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another live stream. We should be live right now. Welcome back to the channel. Bitcoin has hit $97,000. Actually, 98 actually. No, 97, almost 98. BTC is almost at $98,000. So I want to give you guys an update on the price of Bitcoin. I also want to give you an update on a few altcoins. I want to give you an update on Zcash. If you watch my recent price analysis, I'm predicting the Zcash has already topped, and right now we're looking at the beginning of a move that brings the price of Zcash, down in the low $200, potentially in the higher $100 range. I also want to talk about XMR. All right, XMR is on fire. Probably not the only project among a few projects that are bullish long term. So I do want to analyze the chart of XMR because this one could potentially go much higher. Look, it wouldn't surprise me if XMR is trading somewhere around $2,000, $3,000. So I want to talk about it from a TA perspective. And I also want to talk about Dash. All right, Dash had a huge breakout in the last 3 to 5 days. So I want to talk about the chart. I want to talk about where I see the price over the next couple weeks. And if you guys have any project, all right, if you have any project and it's got a long-term positive outlook, feel free to put them in the chat. All right, feel free to put them in the chat. Anyways, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having an amazing Wednesday. Hopefully your Wednesday is going pretty well. If this is your first time right here, just do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and let's get it. Yo, if you need a reason to hit the subscribe, if you need a reason to hit the like button, I predicted when BTC was at $87,000, I predicted the BTC was going to 96,000, and here we are. So that should be a good reason to hit that like button. That should be a good reason to hit that subscribe button. But yeah, let's jump straight to the point, man. Let's get into the charts and let's talk about, Bitcoin trading at $97,000 and where I think the price of BTC goes from here. All right, let's get to it. Let's get to it. So, exactly about 13 days ago, actually. Exactly about 13 days ago, the price of Bitcoin was at $87,000. Chat, it was right here. And I predicted that within the next 10 to 20 days, Bitcoin is more likely to retest $96,000. All right, that was my prediction. Within the next 10. So I predicted that within the next 10 to 20 days, the price of Bitcoin was going to be around $96,000. And that's exactly where we are right now, guys. That is exactly where we are right now. Yo, I mean, honestly, guys, what a prediction. What a prediction. What a time to be alive. So, looking at the price of Bitcoin at $96,000, the question now becomes, where do we go from here? All right? Like, where do we go from here? And I want to make sure that I'm very clear on this. If you're looking at BTC and you think this is a time to grab a position, I think you need to slow down. I think you need to slow it down, and I think you need to take a second and look at price action and look at where Bitcoin currently is. To me, this is not a time to be a buyer. The time to be bullish on Bitcoin was back here. The time to be bullish on Bitcoin was exactly 13 days ago when we had this breakout and when the price of Bitcoin was at $87,000. That was the time to be bullish on Bitcoin. Right now, you want to be bearish on BTC, guys. Right now, I'm actually bearish on Bitcoin because job well done. We are exactly where I thought the price of Bitcoin was heading. And to me, all right, I'm not saying this is the end of the move, but to me, we are in the sell range. I think here you want to take profits. All right. In this range right here, I think you want to be taking profits because boy, oh boy, are we about to face some major, major, major resistance. All right. So this is not the time to be bullish on Bitcoin. This is the time to be bearish, in my opinion. The time to be bullish was back here when BTC had this breakout. The time to be bullish again was back here when BTC had this pullback. Right now, this is not the time to be bullish. And I gave you guys multiple updates, throughout this entire run. Recently, when we were back here at 90,000, I told you that the pullback was most likely coming to an end and BTC was going to try $96,000 again. Chat, the update is literally right here. Bitcoin is at $91,000. And I told you that we were about to try $96,000. And I thought that this pullback was over, long as the price stays above $89,000. So, honestly, I give you, everything that you need from someone that do exactly what I do. If you do TA and if you consume this type of a content, the updates that I've gave you guys, throughout this entire run, from $87,000 to $96,000, this is like you can't ask for more than this. You absolutely can't ask for more than this. And I'm giving you an update right now. And the update that I'm giving you is, I'm giving you a heads up. And I'm telling you that this is not the time to be bullish. And I'm also telling you the Bitcoin is in a short-term selling range. This is a place where you should be thinking about taking profits if your entry was from back here. This is a place where you should be taking profits if your entry was from back here. And you guys, you may remember when I was analyzing Bitcoin at 87,000, I told you that once the price of Bitcoin gets to 96,000, everyone is going to be bullish on Bitcoin all of a sudden. And that is going to be exactly the time to start exiting. And you look at the sentiment, all of a sudden, everyone's bullish right now. I'm already seeing targets of $110,000. I've already seen targets of $150,000. I've already seen multiple targets of a $200,000 Bitcoin. So exactly what I thought was going to play out is exactly what is playing out right now. And it's right in front of you. The time to be bullish, in my opinion, is not right now. This is the time to look at the reality. And the reality is what we have is not a long-term breakout. To me, this is a bear flag. We talked about this. All right. This is a bear flag, in my opinion. Now, different people are going to look at it and they are going to see different stuff. Something that I've seen recently is that this is a This is an ascending triangle, and I'm going to show you guys what an ascending triangle looks like. Could it be an ascending triangle? Triangle, probably. So an ascending triangle looks like this, where you have a flat top, and then you also have higher highs, higher lows, like this. So some people are looking at Bitcoin and they think this is what we have right now. And if this is if this is what we have, then this is bullish, and this will give us a target. You're basically looking at this. This breakout right here gives us a target of, just gotta move this right here. This gives us a target of basically $107,000. And you know what's crazy? 107,000 is this major resistance. Remember, we used to talk about 107,000. So for those of you guys who think this is a descending triangle, perfectly fine with me. All right, to me that is perfectly fine. But in my opinion, this is not a flat top. All right, and the reason I don't think this is a flat top is because then we are ignoring. All right, excuse me, hold on. Then we are ignoring, the obvious. And to me, the obvious are, when you zoom out and you go to the weekly, structurally speaking, this is not what, a bullish structure has looked like throughout this bull market. Like, this is literally not how, Bitcoin's bullish structure has looked like throughout this bull market. In terms of, during periods when Bitcoin was consolidating, building momentum to the upside. If you look at the last one right here, guys, it doesn't look anything like this. I know some of you guys, well, not you specifically, but many people out there were looking at this and try to compare it to this one. To me, the characteristics are completely different. All right, the characteristics are completely different. Right here we have lower lows. All right, lower lows right here. And if you go to the daily, even more clear. And then even if you go back to the one before this one, again, lower lows right here. All right. And then even if you go back to, this one right here, you get a double bottom right here. This is a double bottom right here. So to me, there is absolutely nothing similar to the last pullback, the one before the last one, and our very first pullback. Like, absolutely nothing. And when I go back to the daily and I look at, the current pullback right here, it doesn't look anything similar to this pullback right here. It doesn't look anything similar to this one right here. And also remember, the last couple pullbacks, even though price lost the 200 daily moving average, we weren't very far from the 200 daily, guys. Like, we were just right below it. All right. So this one right here, we lost the 200 moving average, but we were just right below it. This one right here, we had a bigger drop, but you look at this daily close, we closed it just right below it. And you look at this one right here, exactly the same story. And you go to this one right here, you get exactly the same thing, guys. You lose a 200 moving average, but price, stays just right around that 200 moving average. Even the last one, when you look at the last one right here, we lost a 200 moving average, but price is just right around it. And in fact, after losing the 200 moving average, you have price come back to retest the 200. So like right here, you have price quickly get back to retest the 200, lose it again, quickly get back to retest the 200, lose it again, quickly get back above the 200. It's exactly the same thing when you come back to right here, guys. You lose the 200 EMA, quickly we get back above the 200. Lose the 200 daily EMA, not weekly, daily EMA, quickly get back above it. All right. But this time, Oh boy, not only do we lose the 200 moving average, yo, look at this drop right here. And look at this consolidation. Chat, for the last 2 months, the price of BTC was nowhere near the 200 daily moving average. Nowhere near the 200 daily moving average. And now one time did we manage to get back above the 200, throughout this entire consolidation or throughout this entire dump. Not only that, you look at previously, the 200 moving average was always rising. This is a rising 200 moving average. The current 200 daily moving average is a declining. All right, this is not bullish. Absolutely not. So, I'm looking all of that. I'm looking at all of that. And I'm just looking at Bitcoin, and I go back to the last bear market or the beginning of the last bear market. The vibes I'm getting, it's exactly these vibes right here, guys. I mean, you just can't make this up. This is the vibes I'm getting right now. I think this is exactly where we are right now. BTC is trying to retest its 200 daily moving average. All right. Probably we get there. Maybe we go just right above it. But we had a declining 200 daily moving average. We had a different type of consolidation. All right. Way, way different than the previous ones. So if you look at this one right here, this one is very similar to this one right here. All right. Very similar to this one right here. And then even if you go back to, hold on, chat. Even if you come back to right here, when do we get another one? I mean, this one, not really much. But we do have one right here. Even if you come back to this one right here, guys, this one was very similar to this one right here. All right, this one right here. So you look at this and you look at the characteristics, you look at the behavior. This is exactly what we have right now. All right, chat, in terms of a bear flag. Okay? This is exactly what we have right now. And if you think, the current setup is an ascending triangle, then you would have said the same thing back here, because all you have to do, to make this an ascending triangle at the time, remember, we are protecting, pretending this doesn't exist yet. So if you put a trend line right here, this kind of gives you what looks like a flat top. All right, let me do exactly what I did with the first one. So let me just put two trend lines. All right, so we go like this. Okay, oops, what am I doing? We go like that. And then we'll put a trend line right here, guys. All right. This one also will look like or maybe we can go like this. If you guys want me to make it easier for you. This one also, if this doesn't exist, imagine the price is just somewhere around here. This one also looks like an ascending triangle. But this wasn't an ascending triangle. This was a bear flag. So when I look at this right here, and I look at our current setup right here, I mean, to me, there's a lot of similarities. All right, I see plenty similarities. So what I'm saying to you is that we are looking at a Bitcoin that is displaying a bear flag. All right, to me, this is how I'm looking at this. I want to make sure I touch the tops right there. To me, we're looking at a bear flag. It doesn't have to. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is an ascending triangle, which is very bullish. And to me, I'm looking at this and I'm saying to myself, we are in a range where taking profits makes the most sense. Yes, price could potentially go above, this resistance line. We could potentially even go above the 200 moving average. The 200 is at $99,600 right now. So maybe BTC can go to 99,000, maybe just right above $100,000. But I think right here, we're putting a top. We get a pullback. We lose the support. We might get a rally. We get rejected. And then we jump all the way back. Right? To me, the entire makeup of a bear flag is what we have right now. And the reason I strongly believe that this is what could potentially be playing out is because when I zoom out and I go to the weekly, all right, my prediction has always been, even though price looks really bad, we are going to retest the 21 weekly moving average. And right now, we are very close to the 21 weekly moving average. And when you go back to the beginning of that last bear market, all right, we came back to retest the 21 weekly, and we actually closed above the 21 weekly moving average. So look at my blue line and look at the price, guys. And the other thing that I'm also watching is this. I am looking for this div cross right here, guys, where this blue line goes below the green line. Right? That is, another major bearish confirmation that I'm waiting for. Not normally. Sometimes when you do get these div crosses, price comes back to retest, the EMAs. Like price will come back after the div cross. But sometimes you get that pullback before the div cross. And that's exactly what we got right here. So I'm looking at the same setup right here, guys. You can clearly see the blue line. It's very, very close to going below the green line. But to me, it looks like, we get in the retest before the div cross. To me, this is what it looks like. So I'm looking at BTC and I think, look, it could be sometimes this week. Like this could be the week that breaks above the 21 weekly. And then we close above the 21 weekly. Let's say BTC closes around, let's just go $103,000. I'm just looking at the resistance right here. All right, let's just go with 103,000 as an easy number. I think once you close above 103,000 or at $103,000, there are going to be more people turn bullish, and that to me is the biggest trap, because the moment you think this is going to be the beginning of another incredible bull market, I think that's the moment we top, and that's the moment we start getting a pullback, and the next thing you know, the price of Bitcoin is in the low $70,000 range. So that would be my update on BTC. I don't know if I'm missing anything else. The more I look at Bitcoin, the more I look at the makeup of what we have right now, the more convinced I am that I am going to be on the right side of this move. And what I want to do is, I do want to stay on the sideline. Right now, I do not have a Bitcoin position. I'm just analyzing this market exactly as I see it. Could I be wrong? Absolutely yes. But what I will tell you is, I absolutely nailed, guys. Like the last move, I absolutely called it to the T. All right. From $87,000, I told you $96,000 was coming in about 10 to 20 days. And that, my friends, is exactly what we got 13 days later. I mean, you can't make this up. It is right here. So this is a reason for you to subscribe. This is a reason for you to smash the like button, just in case you haven't already. Woo hoo hoo hoo. Dun 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 dun. What else do we have? What else do we have? All right. Just give me a second. I know that was That was kind of long, but you know what? Hopefully, you guys appreciated this. And if you want me to give you an estimate of when do I think we're back in the mid $80,000 range, I can absolutely do that. And I'll show you exactly how I was able to predict that we were going to see. I mean, it's right in here, just in case you guys are wondering. This is how I predicted that 96,000 was coming in 20 days. I basically went from, the $80,000 low until the first time we, put in a top. And it was give me between 10 to 20 days. And I looked at it and I said, I think it's going to take exactly the same length. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. All right. Let's get back to this market. So. Yo, I gave you guys, so many gems recently. I hope you guys took some look, not financial advice, of course. You do whatever. But I hope you guys took some actions. I gave you MicroStrategy at $150. Yo, strategy is going to like we going in the $200 range. Just give it a couple more weeks, all right? I also gave you a bunch of these miners. I gave you yeah, we yeah, I gave you guys, some crazy crazy trades. Anyways, and all for free. And also I gave you XMR. Yo, I told you guys when XMR was right here that we were going higher, and that's exactly what we've done. It's up almost 100% since I gave you an update. But anyways, let's jump into let's jump into this other stuff right here. Yeah, I'm gonna jump into XMR and Dash. These are the two altcoins with a long-term bullish setup, and these are the only two. I'm gonna be very honest with you guys. Like, if you want to make money from this market, these are the only two projects you should be like. You should be playing with with these two projects right here. Other than this, you are like you killing yourself, to be honest. All right, let's talk about XMR. So XMR looks incredible. When you zoom out and you go to the monthly, I mean, you see, this is a beauty right here. And this is exactly what your favorite altcoins were meant to look like. If they don't look like this, just get away, guys. I do have a private Discord. If some of you guys are interested, feel free to join us. I charge about $200 for 6 months. I charge $350 for an entire year. So extremely affordable. I'm gonna put a link in the chat to any of you guys who is interested in my Discord. I'm gonna pin this. Look, hit the link, go to my Discord, send me a DM, and I will respond to you. You got to send me a DM. Once you send me a DM, I will respond to you. I gave a buy signal back in 2024, exactly around $190. And if you guys don't believe me, this is XMR I'm talking about. If you don't believe me, that's okay. I'll show you right now. XMR. If you don't believe me, I'll show you. That's because I want to make sure none of you guys think, the price is up. You're just making that up. Absolutely not, guys. Look, this is exactly what we do. It is. All right, it's right here. Look, I gave a buy signal exactly at 196, and this was in December 3rd of 2024. So it's right here. All right, don't think this is not something that I'm making up. So yeah, this was when the buy signal was giving out, and of course it's a lot of easier looking back because we had just broke above this monthly resistance. Like that to me was a big bullish confirmation. You look at performance ever since, you go from 190 whatever, you go from right here. I mean, we are currently up to almost 300%, well, 300% recently. So, anyways, this is bullish right here. And every single pullback is an opportunity to add on to your position. So, all you got to do with XMR, just go down to the lower time, probably the 15 minutes, and then just keep your eyes on these consolidate. You see consolidations like this? You want to be a buyer. Like right now, if I'm looking at XMR, guys, we are very close to a major support. So I will be honest right now, this is a good time to start a position. You start a position right here. Or you simply wait for your breakout confirmation. So put a trend line right here. You wait for a breakout, maybe price back around, like 220. And this is your entry. And then you're looking to take profits around, almost $800. This is already a 10% move. And you simply put your stop loss, just right below these lows right here. So like this is a 3%, this is a 3% loss, but you're going after a 10% move. To me, this is a trade that makes sense 100%. I would take a trade like this every single time. So this is exactly what you gotta do. Or you can go to the 1 hour. Even on the 1 hour, you can clearly see this is a major support. So chances are price is not going below $696. Chances are this pullback is most likely coming to an end, and then we will have a brand new move all the way up to higher targets. I'm gonna be very honest with you guys. This is not the top of this move right here, guys. Look, this thing could potentially go way higher. Like if I'm looking at this monthly setup, and if I'm looking at this monthly setup right here, it wouldn't surprise me if we get 2-3 monster monthly candles. Like if we get 3 of these right here, guys. Imagine, 2 more of these right here. Like that can push the price all the way up in the $200,000-$300,000 range. And maybe we can even play with some Fibonacci extensions. So let's go from this low right here, push it to the top right here, guys. We come back right here. So we already hit the 161 fib target of $772. So our next target is $930. All right, $930. That is our next target. And then the one right after that, it gives you $1,000, $40. And then the one that comes after is, $1,100 basically. And then after that, you're looking at basically, I'm just gonna say $1,200. Okay, so $1,100 and $1,200. These are your next targets. So once again, if you go to the 15 minutes, I mean, think about the sound of this. You're looking at this and you go, I can jump in right here and just simply put my stop loss just right below 990, just right below, let's go with 995. Gives me about a 4% loss, 2% loss actually. And if I'm right, profit wise, I'm looking now. This is a 30% move. Forget about look, we can go with the first one. There we go, right here. This is a 12% profit. This is 30%. This is 45. And then I think the next one, probably you're looking at 50% profits. Chat, this is how you trade, man. All right? Your loss is just 2%. All right? Just imagine, right? 2% of, whatever, right? How much are you trading with? Is it $1,000? Is it $500? But look at your profits. All right? So I just gave you guys trades, but this is not financial advice. You go ahead and do your own research, guys. So XMR looks incredibly bullish. Let's take a look at Dash. Dash also just broke out. Now this one, a major breakout is going to be once we get above, this $74 resistance. Now you may be wondering, what do you mean once we get above? And we already above 74. Yes, guys, we are above 74. But there's a difference between getting above 74 and closing above 74. So if this weekly close, if we can close this weekly above $74, I think that is a major, major accomplishment. And even if we go down to the daily, even if we can get today's daily candle above 74, I think that is also a major accomplishment. Very similar, okay? You go down to the 15 minutes. I can tell you right now, this is a bullish consolidation. Like, this is not bearish right here. So, simply put a trend line right here. If you can catch a breakout, jump into a position. If this is a rejection, so let's say we get rejected right here. If we get rejected right here and we get another pullback, right here you should be a buyer. Anywhere around like, $71, you should definitely be a buyer. I'm looking at 71. This is a major, major support. So let's say basically we do get rejected right here, and then we get a pullback like this. You should, look, from $74, I think you should be a buyer. Right here, you want to be a buyer. And then, your stop loss, if you're jumping in right here, your stop loss could be just right below 71. This is almost a 5% loss. Or you wait for this breakout right here. Price might break out and then gives you a retest. But I don't think you should wait for a retest. If you jump in, just jump in, and then if it does pull back, it's perfectly fine. You are going to be bailed out. Whenever you have a monthly like this, I mean, this is fire, man. Let me show you the RSI. And look at the MAC. Oh, my God. Look at the MACD. Like, the MACD is just breaking above the zero line on the monthly. And then you look at monthly RSI. Monthly RSI is at 66 right now. Remember, overbought RSI is extremely, extremely bullish. The weekly RSI hasn't even, hasn't even hit the overbought territory where, price just goes crazy. You look at the weekly MACD, is giving you a buy signal. So, Dash is the major, major, major opportunity. So, these are the only two projects, speaking of altcoins that I can confidently say there is money to be made, and you don't have to worry about, the long-term outlook of the, but you just don't have to worry as much. I mean, you just don't have to worry as much as, these other altcoins. XMR, Dashcoin, these are my two projects. These are the two projects that I can get behind. So those were really, really good setups, and hopefully I was helpful in that analysis. The last altcoin, before I take the ones that you guys are interested in, is Zcash. In my opinion, Zcash has already topped. So let's talk about that. This is a clear bear flag. This is a bear flag right here. And to me, yes, you may be looking at this. Oh, price has gone from $363 and we back in the mid $400 range. And you may be looking at this and thinking, holy smoke, man, this is bullish. Chat, in my opinion, this is a retest of this breakdown. All right, remember, more often, price, whenever you get a breakdown or a breakout, price comes back to, and retest wherever the area was. All right, so in this case, look, it wouldn't surprise me if we see the price of Zcash, somewhere around, guys, even $500 if we are going to be honest, because I'm looking at this yellow line, like it can put us all the way up around 500. But once you start getting around, 450, 460, I'm just looking at here, like this is a major, major resistance. Well, not a major resistance, but it is a resistance. Once you start getting around here, then this is a place where we could potentially get rejected. And also, this could be a, head and shoulders pattern. All right, if you want to look at it that way. I don't know if that makes any sense to you guys, but I think it does to me. And then when you go to the 4 hour, all right, 4 hours retesting the 200 moving average. So look, this is a declining 200. So yeah, probably around here we are going to top. And then, we'll get the move back down into the, my prediction is that we're coming down here, guys, into this, low $200 range. higher $100 range. The only way I'm going to be invalidated, the price to me will have to break above $500 and $550. You break above 550, my bearish outlook will be invalidated, and that will be a Zcash that potentially goes back to to new all-time highs. But I mean, to me, yeah, this doesn't look good, man. Absolutely not. And then when you look at other stuff that I was looking at, I think I was looking at MACD. You look at weekly MACD. To me, this is already bearish. Look, weekly MACD recently gave us a sell signal. You look at the histogram. This is an indication of momentum. And whenever these bars or this histogram goes from, it goes from like very, I don't know if this is dark. It goes from like super green to like a lighter green color, and then it goes to red, right? Once you get that, I mean, the vibes are over basically. So I'm looking at this. To me, I mean, the signs are just right in front of you. The signs are just right in front of you. Either you take them serious, or you do whatever that you think is the right thing to do. So yeah, those are the three altcoins that I wanted to talk about today: Zcash, XMR, and Dash. The two of them are extremely bullish. The other one is bull market is over, and this is the beginning of a major, major, major breakdown. Once again, show some love by subscribing to the channel, hit the like button, and let's talk about it. 995 or 695? No, 995. Yeah, XMR is going to $900. Yo, chat. Look. I don't want to give you guys predictions, but yo, don't be surprised. I mean, don't be surprised if XMR is in the $2,000 range, 3,000. Look, the chart looks bullish. Like, honestly, the chart looks really good. And if Zcash can do this, why not Monero? All right, honestly, if Zcash can do this right here, why not Monero? So, any coin out there that you guys would like to discuss, anything, or what? Is there anything, chat? Oh my God, man. What is going on? Anyways, look. I think this was a lovely live stream. I don't know if there's anything else. Like, what else do you guys want me to talk about? Should I just, should I continue with altcoins? I mean, most of these altcoins are dead. Like, absolutely just trash, man. Like, most of these altcoins are just trash, guys. I'm not really excited. I'm not really excited when it comes to altcoins. Like, they just so bad, man. It's honestly, at this point, it's just like, I mean, look at this right here. Now, Filecoin is actually doing, no, was he Filecoin or ICP? Oh, ICP. ICP is actually doing pretty well. You go down, you look at the 4 hour. This is a really nice move. Looking at ICP right here, like, this is a big move right here. Oh my, I mean, honestly, I can't believe I missed this. But maybe not. I think I analyzed this, just maybe not recently. Bullish divergency right here. I think that's what we had some bullish divergency right here, especially. Then we had this breakout. We had this breakout right here. And then we had the retest of the breakout. So the retest was actually very positive. This was the retest. And then after the retest, I mean, look at this pump, man. Right now, definitely too late. Not the time to jump in. But yeah, if you guys, if you want to join my Discord, hit the link. If you guys look, if you want to join my Discord, we don't just talk about crypto. We also do stocks. Hit the link, guys. $200 for 6 months. $350 for 12 months. Yeah. So if you want to join my Discord, hit the link. $200 for 6 months. 350 for 12 months. You have the entire 2026 if you pay 350. Prime is a stock that we talked about. Currently looking very, very bullish. A bunch of these stocks, we talk about them. Alibaba, our entry is way, way down here. All right, we got Baba down here, traded all the way up. Recently got back in it from right here. This is the position that is currently up about 10%. This is our target. And, 206. And, of course, much, much higher. ASTS, we got in around $30. Recently traded from the 60s all the way up to $100. Plenty opportunities. We traded Tesla from the low $200 range all the way up to $490. And plenty more stock trades. So if you guys are interested in joining a community that is not just about crypto, but that is more wherever profits are, we are going to hunt profits. Hit the link, guys. The link is literally right there. You send me a DM, I'll respond to you. If somebody DMs you first, that it is not me. That is a scammer. I do not have any affiliation with scammers. I don't have any associations with scammers. So make sure if somebody DMs you first, make sure you do not respond. If you DM me, I will respond to your DM. Anyways, 15 minutes into this. Appreciate you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the live stream. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.